Welcome back to Krista TV. My correct people, the ex-minister known as Uju Ohanenye, which is the former Minister of Women Affairs, has finally broken her silence on her dismissal from office by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on October 23, 2024. In an interview on Channels Television, Politics Today, Ohanenye reflected on her tenure, controversies, and accomplishments during her year-long stint in office. According to Ohanenye's term, she said that her time was marked by significant controversies, including her threat to sue the United Nations, which is UN, over alleged mismanagement of funds earmarked for Nigeria. Despite this, she expressed no regret about her actions, emphasizing her commitment to fulfilling her responsibilities. She said, "I had a duty to ensure things were done right, and I am glad I did not compromise." She did not compromise, according to what she said. She also said that she had no regret on how she performed her duties as Minister of Women Affairs. She equally highlighted several initiatives she championed, such as mobile courts and rescuing young girls from street hawking. She noted that these efforts were largely unfunded by the so-called Nigerian government. Ohanenye revealed that over 200 million naira was raised through donations from Nigerians on October 15th, just weeks before her dismissal. She said, "When I called on Nigerians for support, I was overwhelmed by their response. Many gathered at the villa to donate funds to aid vulnerable citizens," she shared. However, she explained that her sacking prevented her from utilizing the funds. This, however, prompted her to instruct the ministry secretary to initiate a reversal of the donations. Ohanenye was one of 5 ministers removed in October alongside Lola Adejon, which is tourism, Jamik Bayo Ibrahim, which is the youth development, Taha Maman, education, and Abdullah Muhammad Gwaso for housing and urban development. Please, my correct people, then watch the rest of the video to see what this woman said in this interview. Please, when you finish watching, if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, do well to subscribe. Tap all the notification button so I get notified of all latest news. Krista TV got you covered.
Conversation with the former Minister of Women Affairs, Barrister Uju Ohanenye. She joins us from our Abuja studio. Madam, it's good to see you. Welcome to the program.
Good evening. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's good to see you smile because a lot of Nigerians haven't seen you. I remember clearly when you were a minister, you are one of the most popular ministers because you are all over the place most of the time. If something is happening in one secondary school or one primary school or one, you're all over. So how have you been? What have you been up to?
Thank you so much. Let me first introduce myself the way it should be, because you said was removed. I am Uju Ohanenye, the sacked Minister of Women Affairs. I think I'll prefer you to use that word. Are you understanding my point? I am fine. Thank you so much.
Oh, okay. Well, since I don't want to. Well, since you say we should call it the sacked minister, I'll stick to.
Yes.
I'll stick to your brief. I was asking. Yeah, you are one of the ministers that were sacked by the president. 5 of you.
By the president, yes.
Yes. So we're going to come to that just in a moment. But I just wanted to find out what have you been up to, because I think we saw you, if I remember very well, we saw you in court or one of those. But just bring us up to speed on what you've been up to.
Thank you. I was sacked, but my visions remain. My visions are not sacked. They still remain. So I've been doing all those things I was doing when I was the Minister of Women Affairs. I still go to court to defend the people that can't defend themselves and don't have money to get a lawyer. All the cases I had before I left, I am still handling it. And remember, they are quite very sensitive cases where 2-year-old, 4-year-old, and 8-year-old were raped, sodomized. So it's not a case that I could have just abandoned. And I'm still going ahead to empower women, young girls, children, men, Nowadays, I can empower anybody, but of any sex, I can empower them. So at times, I disguise myself. I go to the market. If I want to give like Okrika bail, I give to a lot of them. I will go to the market so that I get the right people. Remember, I always go out to make sure things are done right. That is very important to me. So I usually disguise myself, go to the market, and I'll be able to see those that are picking the Okrika, but they don't have money for bail. And I will now gather them before I remove my disguise for them to recognize me, take them to where I packed those things, which was given to me by an organization, and I will give it out to them. So I'm virtually actually doing things I have been doing before. Then I'm producing some movies on moral, which was partly what I wanted to do before the sack, so that I'll be able to teach people about the mobile court that was coming up, which was already approved, and so many other things on how to rescue these children that are hawkers on the streets, and so on and so forth. So most things I was doing before. Remember, I was doing them even before I became the minister. So I just went back to what I've been known for, and then gone back to my practice, and so many other things. I've under 48 hours, not that it wasn't a kind of shock the initial time, but I've been able to, because in life, to tell you the truth, the best thing that can happen to anybody, whatever that happens, note that there must be a reason for that. After all, you didn't put yourself there, somebody did. God used somebody to put you there.
All right, madam.
Anytime God decides it's time for you to leave, take a walk and refocus.
Okay, there are lots of questions I want to ask you. If you can hear me, so
I can hear you.
Why do you think you were sacked? Why in your own books? Why do you think you were fired by the president?
My dear brother, remember, I'm no more a minister. Anything concerning government, I don't think you should ask me. I'm not a witch. Don't know why I was sacked. I'm not a witch, and I've decided not to even think about it. I didn't think about it. The important thing is that I've been sacked. And another thing is that I've refocused myself. I've moved on to continue what I'm doing that I used to, and still makes me happy.
The reason I'm asking that question,
empowering people.
My apologies. The reason I'm asking that question, we had Bayo Nanuga, one of the spokespersons of the president, saying that the president spoke to all of you before the decision or before the announcement was made. So I'm wondering, what could he have told you as his reason for letting you go?
I am not aware of that. So, because sometimes when it comes to these issues, I think you just let it be. I'm sorry to answer it like this. Like I said, the most important thing is that I have been sacked, and Nigerians know it. And I thank Nigerians for the kind of support they gave to me. I couldn't believe it. You know, they really supported me. A lot of them spoke on my behalf, spoke out for me. I thank them, but at the same time, I keep advising, when one door closes, just try your best to reopen another one. Even if it's the one you closed before because of the other door, reopen it and continue what you're doing. I don't like dulling my life over anything. That's the point.
Yeah, so since maybe you didn't know why you were fired, or the president may not have told you, I will tell you some of the things that Nigerians said that could be the reason. Some said, oh, you didn't have enough tact and diplomacy in carrying yourself as a minister. Others said it could be a question of competence. Others said it could be internal wrangling within the polity. Others said because you had no political godfather. Is there anyone that fits into the things you may be thinking of as to why you were sacked?
Okay, the issue of me not being diplomatic, as they said, I think I could talk on that, because one, being Minister of Women Affairs, as at the time I was, remember, I was handling very sensitive cases. You will be in your office and they bring in a 2-year-old and show you that this girl has been raped. You see some substance from the man transmitted to this girl and to the baby. I wonder what you would have expected me to do. Even some of them said, why does she doesn't carry herself like a minister. She goes to police station herself. Why couldn't she be in the office and call the IG? I'm sorry for some people the way they think, because as a minister, actually, you're supposed to be a servant. You listen to them and you respond quickly before things go wrong. So most times, some of those cases, I can't fold my hands, and probably somebody comes to tell you they want to release a guy that raped a child, like the one they brought, who started wearing Pampers at 4 years again because she was leaking from sodomizing and raping. So I had to rush to that police station to make sure they don't release the guy. I followed them to the court and met with the judge. I walked into the court, I explained things to the judge, and we did everything we could to make sure the person is remanded in prison. And the matter is still going on. It's some of those things that you see me in court. So I don't know what people think about being diplomatic when things are damaging. Okay, I can explain to you. You will tell people, look, you can't spend this kind of amount of money to do just meeting when people are suffering. When you come to security and insecurity and peace, you can't spend so much, hundreds of millions, to do that while the people that there's hunger. There's no way you can achieve anything from that. And if you have said it over and over again, and it was done behind your back, what do you expect me to do? I have a responsibility given to me to man that place and make sure things go right. That was the responsibility I was given. And I wouldn't have tolerated it in any form, anybody trying to rubbish the seat given to me, or do things that the government that gave me job will not achieve anything at the end of the day. There must be an impact on people. So I don't understand what they mean by not being diplomatic. If you have been speaking, nobody knows how many times you've spoken about something before you decided to come all out, take that kind of action right in front of everybody. So I myself that wore the shoes, I knew where it pinched me. And I'm glad today that I didn't give such chance while I was there. And I have no regrets in the way I did my job. I don't have any regrets. And I don't think I could have done it anyhow better than, but that was the highest way I myself could have done it. So that issue of not being diplomatic is what
I think clearly your passion was not in doubt. Everybody could see your passion. How you executed that passion is now the subject of debate. We're going to come to the issues of these monies that perhaps you got on the wrong tolls and all of that. We're going to come to that. But just to land on this one and maybe move on from there is, the people pointed the issue of your face-off with the lawmakers, you storming event, a particular event. I remember saying this event was not sanctioned by your ministry, some issues around you trying to sue the United Nations and all of that. Why were you pushing that hard as a minister?
So when I got in there, moreover, I'm very much in good terms with United Nations. I have no issues with them. All I was able to achieve is to change the action plan. The action plan was not making impact on the people of Nigeria. You can't be spending billions of dollars and the people, poverty continued increasing. And Nigeria is not seeing all this. What are we talking about? All I wanted them to do was to change the action plan in such a way that it will make an impact on our people, the vulnerable people. I said it in UNGA, I said it in CSW, and I kept saying it. So at the end of the day, I still achieved it because we were able to change some of the things. UNICEF changed the action plan to focus more on things that will make more impact. And remember, some of the places they spend money is on social norms. And those social norms, you can't continue doing the same thing over and over again when it's not working. You spend so much money, you say you're going to talk to them, you're going to do this, which was why they joined me. The mobile court I got, UNICEF and even UN Women, they went with me severally to Attorney General's office. They went with me to police station. Sometimes if I'm going to police station for these things, some of these UN people, they join me to do that. So if I said I was going to sue the United Nations, they knew what I was talking about. And they knew what I needed them to do so that they'll be impact on my people.
So let's just
talking about our nation.
Okay, let's just suppose
shooting ourselves on the foot.
Let's just suppose a few issues. Now you talked about the action plan. Maybe you walk us through what this action plan is. I can't remember the amount exactly, but it's either $100 million or $500 million that was meant to be released as loan to support women and all of that. And then you needed to sign off. I don't know whether you signed up to that money. And maybe you bring Nigerians up to speed as to why, whether you signed off and why perhaps you didn't sign off on that particular money. Because there's been a back and forth.
I got to cut you off. No. Listen to me.
Yes.
I am no more there. If anybody should discuss this, you just mentioned, it should be my sister that is there, the recent, the Minister for Women Affairs. I am no more there. The day I dusted my legs out of that place, I forgot everything concerning that place. And I've refocused my life. I mean it.
I was raising that issue,
which is equally competent.
Yes. The reason I was raising that issue, because I have a couple of things I want you to respond to on the program. The reason I was raising that issue was because I know that there were issues at that moment. So whether there was a resolution to that issue is what I wanted to find out from you, because we didn't get to hear the end of it.
No, maybe the end of it is not yet there. So just find a way to ask that question to them.
Okay, I understand where you're going to.
You were with me where I stopped. So that place I stopped is that was where I stopped.
Okay, it's as far as we read. It's as far as I was not with you in the office. We just read, so we need all this clarity.
No, not only that you read, I spoke about it several times.
Yes. So let's talk about.
For now, I don't know what's going on there.
Let's talk about what is going on in the country. A couple of things, because I'm going to come back to a few things, but I want to marry a couple of the issues so we can cover as many things as possible. I know you're very passionate about women. I know you're very passionate about children, and that has been clearly seen. If you were to look at the Nigerian state as it is under the leadership of President Bola Tinubu as the minister, as you served under him as a minister, what would you say is your view of the situation of the country?
Okay, from the little knowledge of things that I know, I have never seen any positive move as I'm seeing now. Listen, remember I was sacked. I'm not saying it to impress anybody. I'm just telling you because I've been very passionate about how things should move in the country. And I have never seen anything as positive as I am seeing right now. Because in all this while, we've been living on illusions. That is my own belief. We've been living on illusions. We've been living in a house without foundation. But as it is, it's as if we are digging down to fortify a very solid foundation, then grow up out of it and build it up. That is the way I see it, sincerely. That's what I'm telling you. So now, in as much as there is suffering, it's just for a matter of time. By the time that foundation comes up, it will permanently stabilize things. So I still tell Nigerians to hold on as I see them holding on. That foundation is coming up. And I'm watching, I'm following up myself. And you know me, I'm a very blunt person. I don't fear anybody, I only respect people. If I see anything, I say it as I feel. That is the way it is. That's why they say you're passionate, you're passionate. I just say things as they are. We have hope, seriously, because gradually things will start changing. That is my own view of what I'm saying.
So are you saying, so that we understand you properly, are you saying that the president is on the right path? Because when he had the media chat, some very emphatic questions were asked, and he was very bold in his response, even when there were pushback as to, shouldn't you have done it differently? He said, no, there's no other way I could have done it. So are you saying that the president is on the right path, but people are really, because the Nigerians are really suffering, and it's almost really getting quite difficult to handle for a lot of people?
Yes, if I talk now, they'll say maybe she's saying it to impress. No,
you're free to talk. You're no longer a minister, so you're free to talk.
Exactly. But let me tell you,
give your view as a citizen.
There's something I like about our president, his doggedness in doing things. He does things he feels that is right, whether you feel anyhow on it or not. That is what we need right now. Somebody who will stand firmly and follow up a procedure, a policy that will lead us to a better life. That's what we need. So I think he's on the right path. That's what I would have done if I should have been the president, to tell you the truth.
You know,
Because
why we always, yes, the reason,
to impress.
yes, the reason why we ask these questions, and because we have references. For instance, in Ghana, where the election happened, and this has nothing to do with, okay, maybe you can posit it that way. Akufo-Addo is the president that is leaving. He served for 8 years, beating John Mahama, who has now returned. And some of the reforms and the policies were brought by the government came in, and people were very uncomfortable and kept saying, look, this thing is hurting, is hurting. He did his best in terms of inflation level to bring it down to a certain point. Now, his inflation got to 50% in Ghana, but he was able to bring it down to 20%. But his party lost woefully in the last election. So I'm asking that question because there is the wisdom of the leader and the expectation of the people. So juxtapose that wisdom of the leader and the expectation of the people. Where do we have a meeting point?
See, if for any reason Mr. President decides to force the inflation down, it is still not going to help us. It will backfire after a while. It's just like going back to to the pit where we're just trying to come out from. Because if it is not natural, it will never be permanent. So I prefer it going gradually. Let us all relax. Let's take that hit. And gradually we will get out of it. I support it going gradually out of that pit. Only that others, all of us must have to help. It's not only the president that will do everything. People that negotiate our loan should look into what they are doing. People that are donors, handling the donors' monies, that are writing the programs for donors' monies. Those are part of people that are our problems. Because you can't write things that will not favor your country simply because you're selfish. You just write things like I keep saying on fistula disease. How can the money be brought to treat fistula patients and the Nigerian is writing on that money that they let the money be used to train fistula doctors? Where is it done? These are people that are our problems. Until we start prosecuting such people, you write anything like that will not favor the country out of selfishness, that person should be arrested and prosecuted. That way they will learn their lessons, because it's not like they don't have the brain. The brains are there. It's just that they think about themselves rather than thinking about their country. So if some of these people should start being looked into, why are they doing that? Is it to favor them or not? You will find out that by the time we correct some of these things, this inflation will drop by itself. Because when monies are going to the wrong hands and they are not properly utilized and people continue suffering, no matter what president does, he will only succeed 10%.